If you're not a Christian nationalist, why are you amplifying their message?
To show that what I'm talking about is not an exaggeration. Watch the video first.
Today, we found out that £1 billion of internet. That is £12 million a year. We can't think of this already. We can't think of it. It's £12 million for this on this. That's why it's only half cost of so-called black hole devices. Now, because it's this, we will all of this. As well, with the last 2 million, just us, as anyone else. 5 as all 5 million, 5 months, do you find out that it's just us, as you any is. We find 5 million over, almost all of the constitution, we subdue this. 18, 183, 27,500 new pounds, 110,000 new cases, actually policies. Like the vast majority of mortgages in the world, we should just all mortgages in the it's common sense. We should are not transfers. So we can't afford to just like, we should call it just use it on forest instead.
And now that you've seen the video, can you understand what I'm talking about?
We understand completely.
Because I'm fighting for a freedom that you don't even realize.
Freedom for who?
This is not integration. This is not assimilation.
If you've watched videos of white supremacist rallies and marches across the U.S., you may have noticed people dressed up as crusaders from the Middle Ages or waving banners with medieval insignias. Professional historians have noticed this too, and as NPR's Neda Ulaby reports, those historians are angry.
The head of the Medieval Academy of America was horrified when she saw dozens of Charlottesville demonstrators brandishing white shields with crosses that looked a lot like Crusader flags. On so many levels, says Lisa Fagan-Davis, the white supremacists recorded in this video have gotten history completely wrong.
There was one young man who was carrying a shield with the black spread eagle that was clearly co-opted from either the Holy Roman Empire or there's actually a saint, and it's kind of ironic, he's an African saint who carries that standard, and I suspect the gentleman carrying the shield didn't realize that.
That was St. Maurice, revered during the medieval period. He came from Egypt. After Charlottesville, Davis and her colleagues published a statement on the Medieval Academy blog.
As scholars of the medieval world, we're disturbed by the use of a nostalgic but inaccurate myth of the Middle Ages by racist movements in the United States.
The statement was signed by more than 24 organizations representing over 5,000 people. It says the Middle Ages were complicated and diverse.
By using imagined medieval symbols or names drawn from medieval terminology, they create a fantasy of a pure white Europe that bears no relationship to reality. This fantasy not only hurts people in the present, it also distorts the past.
Social media teems with homemade videos glorifying a time when heavily armored Christians fought for Europe against swarthy infidels. Racists online have adopted a Crusader rallying cry, Deus Vult. Reductive medieval imagery and language shows up in posts by contemporary Islamophobes.
This is Wild Bill for America, wearing the cross and shield of the new Crusaders. I stand with God against the most violent, false religion in the world.
These sentiments, says medieval scholar David Perry, are not without precedent.
There were people in the Middle Ages who identified themselves in opposition to Muslims and in opposition to other people.
Other people, for example, like Jews.
But there were lots of Muslims throughout Europe. There were Jews throughout Europe. There was communication across culture. There was absolutely violence, and often violence framed around religion. There are moments in the Crusades in which religious violence was intense. The Crusades are not the dominant event of medieval history, and the violence of the Crusades is not the only story that we can tell.
Perry monitors right-wing websites, and he says people commonly cite the Crusades' Knights Templar and Vikings to protest the influx of Muslim refugees in Europe, as well as to stir up anti-Muslim and anti-Semitic hate here.
They all depend on this idea that once upon a time there was a pure white Europe, building civilization in opposition to the other. And that's not something that as historians we can just let pass.
So let's relook at his rally speech.
Friends around the world, I urge and I ask you to stand with us and march on Saturday the 13th of September. At 12 o'clock we will once again form as a body of patriotic Aussies to stand up against tyranny and corruption around the world. But one thing that I really want to highlight is that I am so sick of us using the good nature and goodwill of us as European people, English people, Australian people, New Zealanders, that our goodwill and our loving nature has allowed communities to come here under the disguise that they would assimilate and become part of who we are, when in fact they've done the opposite. They have entered our borders, they have built their own communities, and they have shunned, attacked and destroyed anyone that is not under their fundamentalist ideas and their extreme views on how we should live. Islam is not a religion of peace. And this, I'm not making that up. It's demonstrated everywhere it's gone. They speak about it themselves. Their sheikhs, their clerics, their imams, they're standing in Australian mosques and there's a call to arms within them talking that they need to start preparing for jihad because it's time for them to start taking over countries. Enough is enough. The world needs to unite. All of our Christian nations that were built on Christian ideas, fundamentalist things where we look after people, love thy neighbour, these are being eroded at an alarming rate.
On August 3rd, Sam Bamford called to Australia to march. Against mass immigration, Sam as two worlds collide. He was contacted by a trusted insider and handed control to Beck Freedom.
Yeah, who's organising the March for Australia on August the 31st in Queensland? You're not going to believe this. The mainstream media's had an absolute field day trying to pull this thing apart. They're calling everybody racist and they're carrying on like troops with their heads chopped off. But we know what's going on here. There's events happening in every capital city around Australia, as well as a whole bunch of regional areas. This thing is going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. But who is it that's been organising it in Queensland? Have a look at this rebel. Bender, Spambot X, lead organiser, Lachlan Wade, Libertarian President of Queensland, Oz Integrity, he's one of the leaders as well. Wayne B, she's been all over this organising it. The Dusty Bogan, the McMullen, and oh my God, if you look at one of the streets, there's Shell. That's it. I'm one of the organisers in Queensland. If you thought the left would hate, you should see what the NSN can do. Holy cow. Because I wouldn't let them speak at the Brisbane Rally, man. I've had these guys non-stop at me, like, across all my different social media platforms for a few days now. It's been really fascinating to watch it unfold. But because I actually enjoy watching psychology, how people react, emotions, triggers, all the rest of it, I'm sitting here going, that's interesting, learn from that, pick up on this, educate myself, get better at that, adjust this talking point, think about it a little deeper. And so you guys are actually just helping me craft my message, which is really cool. I'm actually really, really grateful for you guys for doing that. I understand where you're at. You guys, you want to have a seat at the table. You don't have enough people to create your own political party. You tried to hijack all the other movements in every other city, but you couldn't get Brisbane because, well, let's face it, you're fucking with guys that are way better than you up here. And you weren't organised enough to be able to do it, and we held the ground, and we will continue to hold the ground. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you guys. I'm just saying that if you want to come on over and work with sensible people for a sensible solution and have an opportunity where you fit, then come around and talk about it. Because the way you are carrying on right now, like a pack of turkeys, you're going to get nowhere. You're not going to get anything, you're not going to achieve anything, and you're going to be lost forever.
Shallow Chal follows Beck. Beck follows him back. He follows Lauren. She follows him back. She also follows Sam at Two Worlds Collide. And Dark Knight Dad, who follows her back. On August 7th, Lauren released this video, and by the 8th, Jason was telling Gladstone to rally up. This is here in full, as Jason accuses people of cherry-picking.
On August 31st, we rally to demand fairness, education for our people first. Multiculturalism, sold as unity, is a tool to dissolve our national identity. A country with a fractured, mixed identity has no identity at all. Our history, values, and shared culture are being erased, replaced by hollow globalism that serves only the elites. We are not a blank slate for their experiment. We are a nation with a soul worth preserving. This rally is our voice. On August 31st, we gather to say enough is enough. We demand borders that protect, not betray. We demand policies that prioritize our people, our workers, our families, our future. The government must answer for its betrayal, for prioritizing outsiders over citizens. Join us. Wear the mask. Stand as one. We are not left or right. We are the people forgotten in the silence. Together we will be heard. The government fears our unity, our resolve, our truth. Let them feel that fear. We are Australians. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us on August 31st.
Okay, welcome back, Australia. The third video, and one I want to talk about unofficially, is regarding the event that we are doing here for the Gladstone chapter of Rise Up Australia.
You cannot claim you're not linked to the other rallies when you match their propaganda and are linked to their network